just to be clear, I have no emotions, hindi ako masaya, hindi ako biased. I totally have no emotions whatsoever with what's happening right now, which is, oh my goodness, this is it. Is this the trial of the century? And is Rodrigo Duterte basically going to spend the rest of his life in trial or in some sort of a first world Hague, Den Haag prison? Pag-usapan natin yan with our very special guest. Ayan na naman tayo. May nagsabi lang sa kanila, Richard, tama na, huwag ka na magbarda na, magpakabait ka na sa kapala. Inaway ko na, Malutikia, Popoy de Vera, lahat, Clarita Carlos, isang litos. Sabi ko, magpakabait na nga ako. Kaya ngayon, interview natin ang pinakamabait natin guest after Sir Ronald Llamas, si Senator Antonio Trillanes, who of course is also running as Mayor of Caloocan City. Sir Sonny, you don't seem to be happy. Bakit? Parang malungkot ka, Sir Sonny.
Good evening, Richard, and thanks for inviting me again dito sa podcast mo. So, tayo? Wala naman tayong emotion din. There's no reason to be joyful and excited.
Nothing. Let's talk about it. Kasi matagal na tayo pinagtatawanan ako. Pinapatrycom na ako kasi fake news daw kami ni Justice Carpio. At sabi namin last year pa yan. Ikaw, kung ano thrilling bang tawag sa'yo, Sir Trillanes, kung ano. But here we are. The moment of truth is here. I know you're a very well-informed man. I'm sorry to say it that way, but we're still surprised by how efficiently essentially Duterte was whisked away and not allowed to play his games. Basically, TRO, Supreme Court, drama, people power, go to Davao, I don't know, mag-harikiri, whatever. Tapos, wala. Kaagad, Villamor base, and then you go. Although I want to ask, a couple of top-level officials were asking me, ba't parang may konting delay din ng flight? Parang they were expecting it a little bit early, kaya medyo nervous yung ibang tao. To the degree that Senator Trillanes, you can share to us, can you tell us? I'll ask General Torres separately in another show on the operational circumstances, but from your understanding, Senator.
Okay, una muna is itong sa bakit na delay. Yun.
Nakamute kaya to, sir. Excited yata ko. Yan kasi,
okay.
sabi mo, hindi ka excited.
Ayan. So,
yes, Senator, you were saying.
Okay, una muna, was I able to greet you? Nag-greet na ka, di ba? Nakuha mo yung first part na yan, di ba? Richard? Yeah. Okay. So,
Boss Sonny, sorry, I just came from gym. Apparently it's in my AirPod. Okay. Yes, sir. Masyado thanks, sir. Yes, please go ahead,
okay.
Sir.
Okay. So, anyway, regarding the delay dun sa take-off, from what ang point daw dito is kasi short notice yung pag-charter ng flight, and normally daw yung pagkuha mo ng mga clearances dun sa overflight, it will take earliest 3 days, then a week. So ito talagang na-rush yung pagkuha ng clearances, and it took that long. Hindi naman, sabi nga nila, hindi daw yan parang grab na ibubuk mo, then off you go. Hindi, it's not that easy. So in this case, kung pupunta ka ng Hague, maraming dadaanan na bansa. So you will have to get clearances for each of those countries. And yun ang na-delay. Pero yung sinasabi mo sa first part of your question regarding the efficiency of the
seamlessness.
Okay. Again, from what I gathered, ano lang ito, parang a series of fortunate events. Parang maraming luck played a big role, and ultimately sabi ko nga divine providence na to. It had to happen that way. And
stars have to align. Stars have to align. Can you clarify that?
Yes,
is it because we were expecting that he would stay in Hong Kong. I mean, did China leak this to him? I mean, okay, first of all, so he was in Hong Kong. He had an option not to come back, right? He had an escape route, or
Okay.
maybe he didn't. But what do we know about the China angle?
So, remember, Richard, nung dinidiscuss natin yung various scenarios, ang sinasabi natin, ang go-to move ni Duterte, ang kanyang contingency plan or plan A niya is to flee to Hong Kong. He did that before, noong June 2023, when he thought yung dismissal ng kanyang appeal sa appeals chamber ng ICC would come with a warrant for him. So when they were informed, they were given a heads up on the imminent release of the denial of his appeal, they fled to Hong Kong. Okay, ganun yung move niya. Ngayon, nung naririnig niya na the warrant was about to be released, that was about to be issued, lumipad ulit siya sa Hong Kong. Ngayon, over the weekend, nakiramdam sila. Nakiramdam sila kung meron ba talagang warrant o wala. So wala silang nakukuhang confirmation, and they decided, I believe, ang nangyari dito, while ang plano is to seek asylum sa Hong Kong, pero mukhang base sa mga information namin, ano siya, nabore siya doon, nalungkot siya, hindi siya makatulog doon, parang the weather is not ideal for him, the food, hindi niya kumbaga, he did not see himself living there for the rest of his life, or at least habang nakaupo ang unfriendly administration. So with that, ang decision nila is unahan nila yung warrant. So nung tinitignan nila na parang wala naman, naniniwala sila diyan kina Panelo, sinasabi fake news yung warrant, kila Harry, wala daw warrant. Naniwala sila sa sarili nilang fake news. They assumed walang warrant. And ngayon, actually, yung flight nila is supposed to be hapon. Ngayon, one smart guy within his group said, kung ipopush through nila yung hapon, baka lumabas yung warrant during the day, in the morning, lalo sila may ipet. So, they moved it dun sa umaga, pero they kept the afternoon flight para as a decoy, para doon pumunta. Then, umaga sila lilipad, and there was a private jet waiting to take them to Davao. Para pagdating doon, kumbaga nag-decide na lang si Digong na ayaw niya na mag-asylum. Uwi na lang siya, tapos mag-last stand na lang sila ng Davao. So, sila. Akala niya maunahan niya yung warrant, kaya minove niya ng morning, at knowing na meron lumabas nung early morning. At yun na nga, naging the worst place na mahuhuli ka is doon, kasi talagang wala siyang isolated talaga siya doon. And ayun, a series of fortunate events, pero behind the scenes marami pa rin mga mga glitches, tsaka pero naman na overcome naman at eventually na turn over na siya.
So, was this hubris? Was this Colombo? Ano daw sabi ni Sir Rob natin na miss daw niya yung
Colombo.
Yeah.
Hubris is one, kasi pero iniisip niya, he actually thought that there was no warrant issued yet, kasi yun ang inassure sa kanya ng mga moles niya sa Marcos administration, yung kanilang mga protection sa mga different agencies. Yun ang sinasabi, nobody had a copy of the warrant. So, and probably they assume na kung meron man silang red notice sa Interpol, kung mag-pass sila ng immigration sa Hong Kong, mapa-flag na agad sila, then they can now seek for asylum. So, kung nasa Hong Kong sila. Ngayon, kung makalusot sila doon, pwede pala. Ngayon ito, meron palang sa Interpol, meron pala yung parang sealed siya, hindi yung general publication, general posting na all computers. Yes, yung pagka
yung bulletin, yung sa bulletin,
yan, yung bulletin, yung every terminal will have it. Ito meron yung selective, yung one country lang, na para kung gusto mong ma-isolate, ma-huli, yung specific country lang yung bibigyan mo. So they were looking at the website na wala, not knowing na merong ganon na seal, kaya hindi nila nakita. So anyway, kaya lumabas. Kaya it was never posted sa it was never posted publicly kasi doon lang mismo sa terminal sa Krame binigay. Kaya yun ang naging Tapos yun nga, yung hubris na, sige na, tingnan natin kung kaya siyang huliin. Tama, kung natuloy siya sa Davao, mahirapan siyang huliin, pero hindi na siya umabot ng Davao, doon pa lang.
He had an option to fly like Cebu, Davao, parang ganon, Hong Kong, Cebu, Davao, parang ganon yung alternative, hindi na dadaan sa Manila. Walang flight na direct to Davao and Ngayon, they considered flying via private jet. Right.
Kaso the clearances again would take them an additional 2 to 3 days. So kaya na lang, tipong mas maaga, yun na lang, the first trip out ginawa nila.
I want to tease out this more, Senator Trillanes, because a lot of our friends are still playing into that. Maybe in the end, it was really about China making them feel you're not worth it. And then he realized hindi siya siniseryoso ng China as much as he thought. And maybe that may have also, kasi parang siguro inisip niya super VIP siya dyan for protektahan siya. And some were wondering with MSS or their intelligence operatives here try to also leak any information kung sinasabi mo na lumabas lang dito sa bulletin ng on our part, hindi sa China or kasi Interpol, diba? International yan. But your hunch, Son, is that ultimately China felt Duterte was not worth it, right? I mean, they made a statement about don't politicize, blah, blah, blah. Parang parang tick the box na lang, no? Parang mema lang.
Ako naman, I don't think sinuka siya ng China. Kasi, alam nyo, the way China treats yung mga friends of China. Yung friends of China, yung nagbigay sa kanila ng special favor at iba yun. They hold that thing dear to them, kumbaga sacred sa kanila yun. In the case ni Duterte, ang daming na benefit ng China. Duterte made a lot of things possible for China. Marami siyang binigay na pabor, maraming kumita dyan, lahat. So hindi yun siya isusuka ng ganun. Kasi otherwise, titignan nila ng mga ibang potential leaders na gustong establish ng relationship with China, teka, iniiwan nyo yung mga aliado nyo So I don't think that was the case. It was incidental, based on sa information namin, talagang Duterte just couldn't see himself staying there for the rest of his life.
So what did he go to Hong Kong then? So what did he go to Hong Kong? Was it because there was a whiff of an ICCRS and then he went there to feel things out? Or it was...
Sabi ko nga, yan yung kanilang contingency plan. Kasi the coward in him automatically flees So this man, si Duterte, at 80 years old, was never made accountable for his actions. Growing up, marami siyang ginawang kalokohan. hindi siya na-kick out lahat, ina-arbor siya, gano'n. Kumbaga, kaya wala siyang, yung attitude niya towards authority, gano'n-gano'n na lang. Kaya nung wala na siyang power, ito na, medyo napaparanoid siya dyan. So the coward in him prevailed, and yun nga, lumipad siya kaagad. Kaso yun nga, at 80 years old ba si Duterte, parang
Yes,
hindi
exactly.
niya na nakita parang he's too old for an asylum, in Hong Kong.
First one, so you're saying, essentially over like a 2-3 year day period, parang the two sides of his nature clash. The coward in him, and then like
Yes.
parang reckless arrogance and hubris in him, and doon siya nadali. Like, if sana nag-stick lang siya to one of his instincts, diretso lang, di sana. I mean, if he didn't leave, right, stayed lang in Davao through and through, and then made his last stand, may chance siya. If duwag lang siya, then went to Hong Kong and stayed, may chance siya. But hindi, nagduwag siya, and then nagkupal siya. Like, ayun tuloy, nadali siya. But,
Yun.
are you so, yeah, please.
Precisely, kasi nakita naman niya kasi yung nangyari din kay Kibuloy, paano na shake down. So yun yung, that's why, ang sabi niya, tuwing nakakita ro ng mga checkpoints sa Davao, yung ghost of his past is, haunting him. Kasi ganun sila, di ba, when may tutumba sila, talagang nag-checkpoint. So, nung nawala na sila ng control sa Davao City Police, for the first time in so many decades, nawala na siya ng control sa police. Kaya, very, yung movement niya. And he saw for himself how Duterte was flushed out of his stronghold. So, sa kanya, feeling niya doon sa bahay niya, ang dali-dali niyang CQB ka na. Pero, kaya ang ginawa niya, lipad muna, assess muna tayo, tingnan natin, di ba? Para to buy him some time. Kaso yung mga informants niya, mga malls niya, wrongly assumed that there was no warrant.
Wait, or maybe it's the Russian in me. So I always have Assad in mind, but parang Assad is basically useless to Russia, right? But well, he brought some money. But the part of me was always thinking, well, if Putin throws Assad under the bus, that has bad implication for its other alliances, right? The other despots and allies they have. So actually, I agree with you. If you're China also, maybe even if Duterte is a bit alangan, you don't want to set a precedence that turns off other potential future leaders. I agree with that. But speaking of situation, I don't like many things have to work. The stars align talaga, no? Sunny. The stars align exactly. Nevertheless, is it also possible that he was infiltrated? Sorry, I've been a bit too KGB. That perhaps there was false information being spread within his ranks that may moles pala siya. Is that possible? Without confirming.
May moles from both sides. Kasi remember, maraming mga politiko na may dual alliances. Kaibigan si Duterte, and yet kaibigan din nila si President Marcos. Kumbaga, may ganun sila that they can play both sides anytime. So, ang problema, yung mga moles ni Duterte sa Marcos administration, wala talagang nakuhang hard copy ng warrant. Kasi ina-assume nila, if there was such a warrant, they should have seen it by now. So that was the wrong assumption. Di ba? Tapos, yung kanilang hubris, itong sila Harry Roque, sila Panelo, fake news yan, wala yan. Ganon. So, alam mo yun, yung they brush it off dahil sa kayabangan nila, ganon. Then, ito yung bravado. Then yung ultimate bravado, and for that matter, more than bravado, it's underestimating the resolve of the Marcos administration na they won't dare arrest me. Parang they will just bully their way into their crowd, tapos sige, challenge you to arrest me, parang gano'n. Kaso, talagang, God's hand na ito, sabi ko na, we cannot attribute it to anything else kasi nobody would have predicted that he would change his mind and just come back, and nobody would have predicted that he would change his flight to the morning flight. Kasi kung afternoon flight siya, for sure mag-leak na yung Interpol red notice at makakarating na sa kanila, hindi na siya talaga tutuloy. Pero nobody got a hard copy noong morning, because they had to leave Hong Kong early morning.
Yeah, grabe, no? So many things have to fall into place for this to happen. But the more I talk to this one, the more is actually this. Ako, I on the record now, kami ni Ed Lingaw, we had a debate with si Ronald, sabi ko babalik yan si Digong. I just don't see him committing political suicide. Kasi if he stayed in Hong Kong, imagine how bad it would look like. Basically, nasa China siya, which is the most hated country in the Philippines na extended power. And then from there, authority niya, di ba? And then exposed pa rin yung family niya. Parang, if you're him, might as well just, take your chances. And if historically you feel you got away with it and you've been getting away with saying everything crazy over the past 2-3 years, I kind of get it. But let's not forget, Sunny, and I think this will be relevant. Remember yung mga replacement naman ginawa nila ng 2022 elections and then purong sumablay-sablay yung nag-VP si Ganon, tapos nag-Senate siya. Remember, they tried to replicate yung surprise element nila, tapos sobrang sablay, yung si Bato nag-register, and then si Sara, in the end, BBM just came in and ate their lunch, right? So feeling go, we already saw signs of that, na medyo talagang, actually, they're not as sharp as we think. And they haven't also realized that actually they're a little bit behind the curve now. But what we're saying is that they also believe their own BS, basically, They're all, this whole weak leader, kuting yan si BBM, konting avoidan yan si BBM. In the end, they bought their own BS, right? That's the number one mistake in politics, to buy your own BS.
Yes, I agree. Pero yung sinasabing alam niya na yung may warrant, tapos pumasok pa rin siya. Ano naman yun? That's BS kasi when they were planning, meron din sila mga contingencies in place. Doon na nga yung private jet, papuntang Davao, doon yung mga entourage nila Bongo waiting sa parang sasaluhin na sila. Parang they have their own contingency plans. Pero sabi mo nga na uuwi yan, bad luck yung if he would stay there, hindi niya consideration yun actually. Yung bad luck sa China na pagka-asylum, ang talagang lumabas is hindi lang siya makatulog, parang namamahay siya, hindi siya. Hindi siya. Tapos he's surrounded by yung mga MSS, mga Chinese security people. So he felt unsafe, he felt paranoid, kumbaga he didn't feel at home. That's the bottom line. Tapos, kasi kung dyan, knowing what happened to him now, would you think he would do it again? No, he would take that asylum any day than what happened to him now. So yun. Kaya masasabi natin, talagang caught off guard sila because of wrong information. Their most fed them wrong information. Their bravado, their hubris, kumbaga bolstered their decision to come back and kumbaga try to outrun the issuance of the warrant. Tapos bakang stronghold sila sa Davao. Kumbaga yung character flaws nila did them in eventually.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it caught up with them. I think that's basically it. Lahat ng mga it caught up with them. The hubris, the folly. I mean, seriously, Panelo is the best you can do. Harry Roque is the best you can do. I'm not sure. I mean, parang mas magulo pang buhok niya Harry Roque na sa akin ngayon Nagano na siya. Sobrang BJV yung team niya, di ba? Parang, he's such a sabog yung team niya and all. But, I was looking at the face of Bongo and the rest. Parang shell-shocked sila, no? Sorry, parang I think they were really surprised. Oh wow, he's in Villamor. Oh, I cannot even get it. Like, I never saw yung ganyan yung mukha ni Bongo na parang, wait, what? Parang gano'n yung mukha. What?
Okay, ito yung mga assumptions nila. They thought that they could have access. Hindi nila ini-imagine na ang airport being a public utility structure, pwede yan i-control for national security purposes yung access. Di nila yung access nila, kinansel yung access nila. They can't demand entry. Wala. Yung papakita mo yung badge mo, senador ka, o si VP Sara, VP siya. No, you cannot enter because this has been, kumaga, naging security zone siya. So nobody can enter. Hindi nila na-factor in yan doon sa picture nila. They thought they could argue their way sa Supreme Court by time, PRO, gano'n-gano'n. Marami silang asabi. Hindi nila alam yung short walk from the airplane to the past immigration was talagang actually an eternity, no? Hindi nila nakita yon. Pero yun nga. Yes.
So there is a credence to the Colombo theory. This is what happened when you rely on the whims of one man, not necessarily in his best shape, diba? And in the end, it caught up with them. To what degree should we also give credit to? Again, I know there were many other people behind the scenes that were doing their job. I don't want to also overdo it. But in fairness, General Torre was still at front and center. I think he took some punches literally, from Manilet and all. Like literally.
And ito, I think what is commendable to the PNP and how they handle it, siyempre, credit to General Marbil and General Torre. Sila nag-execute nito and inobserve nila yung due process and nirespeto nila yung human rights ni Duterte. Binigyan nila ng respeto. They handled it with care and they were transparent. Naka-body cam sila. Talagang binibidyohan nila all the way para makita na he was treated well. Yun yung maganda rito kasi part of that, very symbolic kasi in a way redemption ito for the PNP. Kasi di ba giniba ni Duterte yung imahe ng PNP na parang naging part of the killing machine. Kahit na maliit
lang. Personal militia. It looked like a personal militia. I mean, like...
Yes, So, pero although mga 5 to 10% lang naman yung mga tiwali dyan, pero nadama yung buong PNP as an institution. Pero ito na ngayon, it's a redemption to them. And maganda talaga yung kaya nobody could question it na parang siya, minanhandle, old man, hindi. Kaya yun na lang yung pinapakita nila na nakahiga siya sa couch, na may oxygen na hindi naman nakadikit daw sa tank. Yung mga they suddenly appeal to pity. And ultimately, ang pinaka dito is the strongman image. Ito siya yung symbol of strength of the whole Duterte base, Duterte camp, and the source of funds nila. Kasi siya yung nagsa-sign off na bigyan mo to.
Right, yung administrator pa ni Tuloy, di ba yung KOGC compound?
So ngayon, wala na. Ang hirap niyan. Pag doon, it's not like nasa custodial center lang sa Camp Crame na accessible ka, pupunta ka lang doon. Ito, nasa Hague ka eh. May time lang dyan. Tapos, yung visiting hours dyan, very strict. Tapos, syempre, you cannot talk about anything foolish there. Habang nandoon ka. So, marami ng, maka-cut off na siya. And, ito, he will not be heard from here on. Importante yun sa kanyang slate. Di ba? What about the orphans na sila ngayon? Kasi Sara, they can't rely on Sara campaigning for them. In the first place, Sara hates some of them.
I want to ask you sorry for cutting you. Yeah, so now I think it raises a couple of important questions, right? So it looks like Duterte will spend the rest of his days either in trial, kasi minimum daw 2 to 3 years, and usually 7-8 years, like, I'm not sure. Mukhang malabo na in the pre-trial chambers and examination, he'll get the reprieve, di ba? I'm sure he'll apply for temporary liberty, yung pabalik siya, ay mataas yung flight risk niya, so malabo yan. So with that situation, who is the next in charge right now? Because it looks like Bongo and Sara once again are jockeying or jostling for that position, right? At hindi klaro yung line of succession now. Who's going to be holding the line for essentially the camp, right?
On its face, kumbaga on paper, dapat si Sara Duterte. Kasi si Sara Duterte has practically zero leadership skills kasi she's whimsical, she's temperamental, di ba? Kumbaga, mercurial ang personality niya, and she hates unsolicited advice. Kumbaga, she's bad at relationships with other people. So, tapos ngayon, nandoon siya sa tatay niya. Physically, wala. Then, another unreliable is si Pulong. Kumbaga, in the first place, kaya si Sara, ang ginawang mayor, even though she's younger than Pulong, kasi yun nga, may character flaws. Bigger or more character flaws than Sara. So ngayon, ito naman si Bongo. Ang problema kay Bongo, he doesn't really command respect kasi ang strength niya emanates from Duterte. So without Duterte,
derivative authority.
Yes, kumbaga ano lang siya she's just an alter ego. Pero wala na yung principal niya. And ito ngayon, ultimately, whoever would foot the bill, siya yung in charge. Is he ready to foot the bill? Ngayon, isa rin may kakulangan din sa leadership skills yan kasi hindi naman siya, he never led anything. He was just given instructions to pass on to people. He's just parang siya yung gatekeeper, ikaw nga. Yun lang.
Exactly. More of a gatekeeper but not necessarily heir apparent, right? So, may battle of succession ang mangyayari ngayon. So, Sara Duterte has now flown. She's now in Den Haag per the news. I saw kanina yung mga result. Confirm na yan. Does that make Sara Duterte more vulnerable? Or does that give Sara Duterte some sort of a chance to rally support and all?
Definitely.
With the father, blah, blah, blah. Yan yung whole drama.
Okay, ito yung effect ng arrest sa general public, titignan pa na natin yan. And let's say 2 weeks from now, doon natin makikita, then we can take a survey, makikita natin. Kasi yung mga initial expressions of outrage compared to EDSA Tres when President Estrada was arrested, grabe yun. Ang expression ng outrage nun talagang sobra. Daan-daan libo ang nag-mass up sa EDSA in disgust. Ito mga pockets, no? There are pockets of rallies sa iba't ibang areas ng Mindanao. Pero sabi ko nga, hindi natin pwede ma-underestimate ito. Kasi in this day and age, things can just snowball Kaya kailangan vigilant din yung Marcos administration. They're just fortunate na hindi Luzon o hindi Metro Manila ang baluarte ni Duterte. Kung yung baluarte niya, yung Davao City is nasa Metro Manila, ibang usapan ito. Pero ando doon kaya yun yung ano sa kanila, lucky break nila. But it doesn't mean that they can rest on their laurels. They will have to keep on fighting it out sa communications airspace. Battle for narratives na to. Pagandahan ng narratives. Itong one hand, yung technicalities nilalabas sila, kawawa, kinidnap, ganyan, sovereignty, etc. Itong the other, kailangan ilalabas nila unang-una that the arrest was proper and it was well deserved. Pakita nila yung mga krimen ni Duterte, pakita nila, i-review nila yung mga public speeches ni Duterte na minumura niya yung mga mahihirap, minura niya yung Diyos, minura niya si Pope. Kumbaga, i-revive nila ito so that the people will relive that those dark years na tipong they were living in fear na ganito pala to, di ba? So, yan.
Huwag na tayong dalawa, I think I've seen enough of Duterte, to be honest. Nung umalis na siya, parang sabi ko, officially Duterte, tapos parang may tornado typhoon is out of Philippine area of responsibility. Parang gano'n yung pinos ka, like, bigla palakpakan na. Parang grabe talaga mga tao. Ang dami na umiyak. Yung term na talagang dumiretso. I don't know, Son, if you saw the meme na nandun yung picture ni Camille Villar na have a safe trip po. Diba? Alam mo yung meme na yan, diba? Kasi every time I did this project ng Duterte admin goes wrong like Isabella. Sabi niya, kaya pala may ganun si Camille. Isama lang yung mga tao. But I was worried, baka may interdict pa yan, baka may mag-suicide pa.
Nakamute ka, Richard.
Kanina, I was worried baka mag-suicide.
Nakamute ka.
Oh. Now can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Well, actually, maraming challenges. No? Maraming challenges. From what I heard, nag-attempt pa silang mag-seek ng asylum sa Dubai during that layover doon. So, gusto nilang, they wanted to look for a way to bumaba, kasi yung mga airspace clearances doon from Dubai to the Netherlands, meron pang 1 or 2 na hindi pa nakukuha. And ang sabi, mga several hours to a day pa ang labas. So ngayon, nakita nila. And so nag-attempt sila. They actually attempted. Buti na lang, magagaling din yung mga crisis managers doon sa doon overseeing itong na to. Kaya hindi no let up until
grabe,
the last minute.
Parang Netflix talaga to. Netflix, every talagang grabe pag may GoPro.
Yeah.
I want to ask about this kasi
parang reverse mo Argo.
Exactly, grabe. I mean,
parang reverse mo Argo.
I know, grabe. Reverse, in this case, you're getting the bad guys out. Sabi nga nila, it's so crazy, it might work. Diba, yung sinabi nila, the plan is so crazy, it might work ito. It is so crazy.
Yeah.
Came back. It was crazy. Came back.
Hollywood.
Yun ang mga argo na yan. I'll make a joke out of that soon. But, Sonny, before we go to the victims, which is the real issue, because you were a part of the communications that was filed, I want to discuss slightly bato-bato, las caras, lahat ng mga tao na tumulong for this moment to happen. Can I slightly talk about the broader geopolitical implications? Because ako immediately, practically in all my international interviews, sinasabi ko, eto na lang sigurong big catch ng ICC for the foreseeable future, if not their biggest catch ever, right? Malabo yung Afghanistan, nasa kuweba yung mga yan. Malabo si Putin, he's in Kremlin, and malabo si Netanyahu because Trump will support him and Israel is his friend. And Hamas, whatever. Hindi mo mahanap mga yan. So this is basically their only chance to get a big profile guy. And although he's not the first Asian to get the warrant of arrest, because Afghans are technically Asians too, but he'll be the first Asian to be tried and most likely convicted, right? If things go as they are supposed to go. How big is this for ICC and the rules-based international order? And were you surprised that US, parang wala pang statement ng US, kasi siyempre yung US anti-ICC ngayon because of Netanyahu, di ba? Pero parang, kasi, Sonny, I'll tell you what, it was so funny. We were all watching what we're trying to say, pero lahat ng mga DDS, tinatag si Kotos. Kotos, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, save Duterte from globalist ICC, BBM Internet. I don't know if you saw that. They were asking help from Trump. Nag-feeling tao sila. I mean, how important is that part of the crisis management to make sure US at the very least just doesn't say anything, considering kalaban ng US ang ICC ngayon?
Well, I think, I mean, I think, 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 I think,
Okay, unang-una yung sa ICC. I think this is the perfect time for them to have hindi lang yung warrant, kundi an actual arrest na ito na, kumbaga yung earn your keep. Kasi si Duterte is the poster boy of a tyrant committing or who committed crimes against humanity. He is basically the reason why ICC was created. Ito yun, siya yun. Siya yung epitome ng isang war criminal na
Warlord.
oppress or warlord. So, yan yun. This is good for them. Kaya they are determined to see this through. Ngayon, maganda rin kasi talagang manineutralize yung political projection sa kanila about yung warrants of arrest nila Putin, sa Netanyahu and others. Parang may geopolitical aspect. Ito wala. Ito yung talagang neutral from a relatively kumbaga politically moderate country. Ito na ngayon, di ba, lumabas. So, okay, that's good for them. Ngayon yung sa yung sa side ng US so far. Anyway, I believe it was, may mga enough signals naman na yung US to begin with na yung opposition nila sa ICC is limited to
their allies. Just to their ally friend.
Just to their allies. So, kung ano yun. And while ally nila yung Pilipinas, alam nila na pro-China si Duterte. Ngayon, sinasabi nila, ini-encourage lang namin everyone to do the same. Kaso yung EU, especially now with the split ng transatlantic alliance, parang na-bolster ulit yung standing ng ICC kasi they now have EU solidly and firmly behind them at they want this case. So ito yun. It's going to be a well celebrated case. Now, yung ko lang to, no, yung sa please na-mention mo kanina about yung legalities, di ba?
Sorry, I forgot to ask you, yun nga, na hindi siya pinasok to get a warrant of arrest from a regional trial court or whatever. There was a slight debate around it, but Muten court na siya, Muten academic na siya ngayon kasi, but for the sake of argument, Sonny, where do you stand on this? Was that a rendition, extraordinary? Was it outside the box, as Justice Garfield put it in our interview? Or was it, no, it was just standard operating procedure because he's an international criminal per the red notice and you just follow. Last time I checked, Putin was not part of ICC, right? Russia is not part of ICC, Afghanistan is not. So I don't just see the argument of, we're no longer a member of ICC, therefore.
Okay. So, those raising the arguments about yung, nakalagay kasi doon yung competent judicial authority sa Article 59, basta iba't-iba yung sinaside nila. Ang tanong kasi dito, before they get into that argument, meaning, nire-recognize nyo yung jurisdiction ng ICC. Diba? It's either you recognize the ICC, that ICC has jurisdiction while we were a member, or not. Pag sinabi mo you don't recognize, don't get into the procedure, di ba? Okay. Now, if you recognize, sabihin, mali yung procedure, dapat dinala sa court. Ang nakalagay dun sa Rome Statute is competent judicial authority. Now, early on, I had a conversation with the ICC people. Clarify ko yan eh. Ano ba yung competent judicial authority? Ang sinasabi nila, it is up to you, kayo yung mag-define. In some cases, yung mga na-issue ng warrant nila, it's either the Minister of Justice or any prosecutor. Ganon, sinabi nila. So, dito, ino-automatic na competent judicial authority is automatically a judge. No. According to the ICC, at requirement ng ICC to, therefore sila yung masusunod, hindi yung definition natin. Unang-una, hindi nga defined. Sinasabi lang, competent judicial authority. So a prosecutor is a competent judicial authority. Ano to Prosecutor General pa yung nilagay natin dito. Nakalagay doon, in-observe niya, tama ba yung person, yung pinagsaserban, di ba? Tapos ano ba, meron bang, is he being tried for the same set of facts dun sa local courts? Wala. Alam ng prosecutor general dapat yan. So, ano ba, proper ba yung arrest na ginawa? Binasahan ba siya ng Miranda rights, etc.? Yun lang eh. Ando doon eh. So, na-affirm yun. Na-complete yung, marami lang kasi syempre, self-serving yung mga Duterte na tipong kailangan court ito o local courts. The Rome Statute never said local courts. Sinabi nila competent judicial authority, and according to the ICC, when asked, it could mean the Minister of Justice or any prosecutor. So tapos ang debate, di ba? So yun na yun. Tapos meron doon nakalagay, he should be examined by an ICC accredited doctor. So I also clarified that ano ba yung ICC accredited doctor? Ang nakalagay doon, ang sabi ng ICC, hindi yung applicable sa atin kasi that's only for member states, yung current member states. So pwede any doctor. So kung yung hindi doctor pwede, hindi pwede yun. Diba? So kumbaga, na-satisfy yung mga requirements nila. Ngayon yung sinasabi ng point na is it surrendering yung ating sovereignty? Kasi bakit natin sinuko yung ating citizen? Ngayon, I refer them to...
Kinagdak daw.
So I refer them to hindi yung mga lawyers kasi sinasabi nila kailangan daw may extradition request from the ICC bago magano. Mali. Kasi nakalagay dun sa Republic Act 9851. Ito yung law that define crimes against humanity, genocide, etc. Section 17, dun sa jurisdiction dun sa second paragraph, maliwanag na kung merong akusado na iniimbestigahan ng isang international tribunal, the government authorities may dispense with their own investigation and surrender that person doon sa international tribunal. It's so specific, it's tailored to the T. Kumbaga, wala na magdedebate, and this law was passed back in 2009. And the Supreme Court never ruled it as unconstitutional at hindi ito surrender ng sovereignty. In fact, it was an exercise of our sovereignty. We exercised option whether to surrender or not. Sinurrender natin kasi we exercise our sovereignty. Kumaga ganun yun. And palagay ko wala nang dito, besides buti ng academic na, but everything was done by the...
I have a couple of questions towards the end of our discussion. Just to be clear, si Luis Moreno Ocampo, nakasama ko dun sa isang panel inside Soren Al Jazeera kagabi. Siya yung former chief prosecutor ICC who oversaw yung kay Bashir, yung leader ng Sudan, no? Back in the day. He made it very clear, the only authority to decide on these questions are the judges on International Criminal Court. No one else. Philippines can do nothing else. He just dished it out like, no, it's over. The criminal is he should go in.
Yung sinasite nila yung Rome Statute, sino na mag-interpret niyan? Requirement yan ng ICC. If the ICC is tinanggap nila na yung mga yan, therefore tama yung interpretation ng Pilipinas. Otherwise, it won't be accepted.
Just another question, very important. Best friend mo to, di ba? Si Bato. Ano sabi niya? Inaman ka niya. Ano sabi niya? May term siya. Something like...
Go ahead, make my day.
I make my day. Okay, make my day. Make my day. Sammy Trillanes, make my day. Okay, will you make his day soon? Is he in the second wave soon? Or pinalak sa...
Sabi ko nga, it's up to him kung lalabas siya hindi. Pero from what I heard, konti pa. Malapit na mabuo pero hindi pa nabubuo. So, pero it's up to him. If he will take my word for it, Pero kung may yan. Oo. Sabi niya, go ahead, take my day.
idea. So his day will come soon. Things like that. Siguro check ng palambo rin niya. Going back to this, nevertheless, at least one service says that Bongo could be even number 1 or at least top 5. Bato still kind of has a chance. How do you see this affecting the elections, or should be affecting the elections in terms of battle of narratives? Because as we speak, for the past 27 hours, I've been trolled like crazy, tinitwist yung words ko na ano ko daw yung Mindanao. And I sabi ko, baka ang talagang plano ngayon is, kumbaga, to portray this as if this is not only attack on Duterte, it's attack on all of us from Mindanao and marginalized people. Parang ganun na yung narrative ng DDS ngayon eh. Yung parang Mindanao, rise up, this is parang betrayal of us, parang binastos yung ating, the son of Mindanao. Ganyan ang narrative eh. Ako may sinabi na ako na may mga regions sa Mindanao na medyo lower human development index and ganun. They make a lot ng they're in that weaponization mode eh. So, should we worry about the kind of, maybe not malawakan na nationwide, but at least in Mindanao and some regions, medyo manggugulot sila na konti yung mga DDS? Or will it even have the wheels or legs?
Ang ko nga dito, ang pinang-engage ko is yung initial expression of outrage. Ano ba ito? How widespread is it? It's nowhere near the EDSA threat level. Pero it's not necessarily na tipong okay na, relax na tayo, let's be complacent. No, kailangan pa rin i-convince, sabi ko nga, battle of narratives na to, the narratives na kailangan manaig is Duterte is a criminal. He killed thousands of people. Meron sa sariling drug cartel, niloko niya yung mga tao, everything was a lie. Tapos marami siyang mga rights na binayli. Kumbaga, yun dapat ang nananaig na narrative. Hindi yung technicality na itong Rome Statute, etc. Kung ano man, gano'n eh. Tapos yung nakakaawa, yung images na gano'n. Hindi yun eh. So, kumbaga...
Sorry for cutting you. So, you pray for the old man was for Pope Francis, not for Digong. I don't know if you saw that online, like pray for the old man. That was for Pope Francis. But to be serious, Paul is actually... We seriously, of course, pray for the Pope Francis. We love Pope Francis. But seriously, also, dito, Sonny, I want to ask you, gano'ng halaga na marinig ng tao ng boses ng mga tunay na biktima? Halos di ko narinig yung boses nila. I'm talking about literal. Nabasa ko yung libro ni Patricia, nabasa ko yung mga interviews sa'yo, nakausap na kita, nakausap ko yung mga abogado. Pero sa totoo lang, Sonia, even as a journalist, even as someone who's been following this, writing on this, parang kapos ako pagdating sa coverage. I don't know if you watched that movie in 1985, yung sa Desaparecido sa Argentina, when they interviewed yung mga victims sa public TV, and sinabi ng mga babae, ni-rape sila, sinabi ng lalaki na torture sila, nag-turn yung public opinion eh. Ako sa tingin ko, nakulang talaga kami sa media eh. And even academia, I would say, in terms of making sure marinig yung voice. I mean, Sonny, you are a hero, you did your job. I'm just saying, medyo kulang nata tayo dun eh, yung boses ng mga totoong victim eh.
Ako, I totally agree. I think yun na nga ang pinakang dito, ang major reason dito was the shutdown of ABS-CBN. Before, ang flow ng information, TV Patrol yan. Nakikita nila, 85 to 90% of the general public tuned in dyan pag nakikita. And kumbaga, from the various islands, kuhang-kuha yan. Kaso when ABS-CBN was shut down, naghanap na yung iba. They did not necessarily go to
other main stations.
Jamie 7. Merong lumipat pero not all. Kaya nagpuntahan na sa TikTok, sa nabasag na. Ngayon, kaya if you want to communicate with them, you have to reach out through various modes. Iba-iba talaga. Maraming nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas na totally clueless na yung iba't ibang areas of the country. Totally oblivious sila. Kaya it may take a while even for some Filipinos to hear about the arrest of Duterte. Kasi normally sa atin din sa Metro Manila, if something big that happens like this, ang assumption natin, the man on the street in let's say some island in Visayas, alam din niya yung alam natin, it's not necessarily so. So it's a challenge, it's a communication challenge, pero dapat yung nasa Marcos administration, they should have the resources, the whole propaganda apparatus of government to disseminate information. So dapat nananaig sila dito. Kaya yan dapat ang challenge now. I think with the new PCO secretary, tapos si Yusek Claire Castro, malaking nagkakaroon na ng content yung mainstream media and social media influencers. So I think that's a good start. Pero yung kabila, talagang well-funded yung kanilang
social media. Yeah, son, malakas pa rin sila in fairness. I felt the heat again over the past.
Okay, nag-expand sila.
Malaking budget, no? Mukhang money trail. We have to pick up the money trail.
Yes, pero ito na ngayon. With Duterte, kumaga arrested and detained sa The Hague, who foots the bill now? Di ba? Who foots the bill? So, hopefully makikita natin yan. Kung slowly dissipate yung mga pro-Duterte influencers in the coming weeks, ibig sabihin nun, nagsara na yung gripo. So, tingnan natin. Otherwise, somebody else is footing the bill. Tingnan natin kung sinong pilantropo yan sa kanilang side. No? But ano pa rin yan? Kumbaga, hanggang kailan yun? Hanggang kailan? So, we will see. Ngayon, tingnan natin yung effect. Ano ba itong arrest na to? Is this a game changer for the Duterte camp? Will it favor them? So, kumbaga, ano muna tayo dyan? The verdict is still out there. Ngayon, tumanin natin. Siguro mag-percolate yan within 2 weeks, tapos mag-snapshot tayo, makikita natin kung ano yung impact.
Sonny, I was thinking yun nga, siguro isang dahilan na marami sa mga biktima or mga pamilya ng mga biktima hindi nagsalita or hindi sila lumalapit sa media or lumalayo dati is because takot sila, di ba? Baka may JK pa sila, baka balikan pa sila ng police. Pero ngayon, meron ka ng you have the right authorities there. You have CIDG Chief Torre, who's very, very clear na I really hate niya yung mga EJK, yung mga ganyan. You follow the letter of the law, the spirit of the law. Do you think there should be a coordinated effort whereby journalists, content creators like myself, for instance, we can go and interview these people with the protection of police para hindi rin natatakot yung mga victim or something like that? Or at least with assurance na there will be no undue interference by people who could be implicated. Kasi naturally, the next step would be dapat may investigation of other police officials, yung mga scalawags na involved din sa mga EJKs.
Yes, for sure. Dapat no let up yung pag-pursue ng mga iba't ibang mga perpetrator sa hindi cover ng ICC. Pwede silang ikasuhan sa 1951. Lahat ito pwedeng gawin. Tapos at the same time yung information war. Kasi nga habang hindi pa natin na-determine, sabi mo, the jury is still out, di pa natin alam ano pa yung ultimate verdict by sabi ko mga ganyan normally magpe-percolate siya 2 weeks, tingnan natin yung yung trajectory niya, kung sumirit sila, okay, sila yung nanalo, at least temporarily, short term. So kailangan mo ng lalong pagdumiin. Pero kung bumaba sila because of this, na tipong, at some point kasi, the reality will set in na hindi na siya makakabalik. So the sooner people will move on, they will move on to life. At, pero siyempre yung mga loyalists, yung mga fanatics, doon pa rin sila, pero mananalo na yung base nila.
It could be a small minority, maybe strong in the Bangsa parts of Mindanao for understandable reasons, but more or less that. So contained, basically. last point, naka-pink naman ako for a reason na. Eto na, sorry, magpakabait na tayo. Si Lloyda Lewis, I mean, first of all, happy Women's Month, and I think it's great that 3 judges who released this were all women. One from Benin, one was from Mexico, and one from Romania. So basically, post-colonial or post-Soviet lahat. So this is not your white man's court, literally and figuratively, right? But speaking of this, Sonny, what do you think about opposition? Akbayan was very clear, Persis and Dania, Risa were very clear. All of them have been supporting you through and through. Do we think that the rest of the team maybe should step up and hindi na mag-both side, wala na mga both sidism? Let's listen to both sides. I think we should listen to the side of the victim and make sure that the ICC gets the job done. Dapat ganun yung linya, right? Kung totoo kang opposition. I think we should just call it for what it is, right?
Yes, and I think it behooves each of them to have a definitive statement on this one. This is a historic moment. Ano ba? Ano ba ito? Hindi naman pwedeng parang as if this didn't happen. Di ba? Ano ba? Ano bang sentimiento nyo talaga? Siyempre, di ba? Tingnan natin. Pero at this point in time, there are no assumptions. We cannot make assumptions. Kasi I don't know if you're quiet na ganito kaingay, everybody, alam niyo, may nagse-celebrate nagpa-private celebration yung mga groups of people just because na nakulong si Duterte. Ganun yung feeling. Doon naman sa Mindanao, nagluluksa naman sila, talagang they feel really bad, nag-iiyakan. So this itong mga political leaders, saan tayo, di ba? Pero siguro talagang the realities of campaign politics mas nangingibabaw, it's up to them. Okay ba yan? Medyo
Yeah. Okay. Just to have an electoral thing. Sorry, pare, you are in the middle of a race pa rin. But at the same time, you are also the hero of the moment. I'll give it to you. Actually, yung mami ko nag-comment siya, parang ang gwapo nila Sanya at saka niya, yung picture niyong dalawa. Oh, what's that Armani suit? I don't know. I cannot not notice. Parang ganda ng suit niyo, yung blue navy. Sino mang tailor niyo? Pakitext sa akin mamaya. You look amazing. God bless you. Dalawa kayo, beshi niyo. Obviously, you feel special about it. Again, I understand Caloocan is a different race and all, but since last month we talked, Sonny, how is the race going and how are you feeling about this race? Balita ko kay Nograles, medyo nag-tighten na sa Davao. I don't know if I can trust some of the surveys, but especially now, suddenly the vice mayor race is also important, no? What do you think? What was your sense of the Caloocan race and its implication?
Okay, kwento ko lang, Richard. With the arrest of Duterte, Carlo Nograles can actually file for a disqualification case against Duterte. And kasi for very valid reasons, hindi na siya makaka-serve. So, madi-deprive din yung yung taga-Davao ng mayor. So, pagka tinanggal siya sa balota, you have Carlo Nograles as the new mayor. Otherwise, kung hindi siya ma-disqualify and for some miracle na nagkaroon ng auditorium sympathy, manalo pa rin siya at wala siya dito physically, then magkakaroon ng vacancy sa mayor. The vice mayor now will assume that this was dead. So I think Carlo Nograles should file that disqualification case. Now, anyway, doon naman sa Caloocan, alam nyo, maraming maka-Duterte sa Caloocan. In fact, yung mga leaders namin ng ground, talagang nag-iyakan din sila. Pero, sila? They're still for me. Kasi alam nilang iba Iba yung situation nila. Ito yung gut issues. These are the day-to-day problems, day-to-day environment that they're living through. So, it matters to them. It matters sa kanila yung kanilang political idol and everything, pero they can dichotomize yung dalawang mundo na yan. So anyway, ang situation doon is yun nga, based doon sa last survey namin, nagta-tighten na. I was 45% nung last survey, and yung incumbent mayor is 52. Though may tatlong undecided. So, and I came from 8% last year. So, I think that's a good upward trajectory. So, ano yan? Pero sige lang, kahit lang. And wala pa naman tayo sa campaign period.
Yeah.
And if the campaign period tabla na yung laban, I think medyo maganda.
Wala bang option pwede isama mo yung kalaban mo sa ICC? I'm just kidding. Naman, di ba marami rin mga EJK nangyari dyan sa Caloocan, di ba? Di ba kayo? Yung kulong si yung kulong si Kulong. Tignan niyo yung mo, di ba? Maybe, baka naman. Wave 3 ng ICC, di ba? I'm just saying. Wala akong in-imply. I mean, I'm always saying, Sonny, after coup d'etat, that's your another option. Just in case. But kidding aside, I'm sure, Sonny, no matter what happens, you are going to be at the center of Philippine politics in the best way possible, including at the center of Twitter wars. Along with yours truly, I'm glad to be, parang Batman, Superman tayo talaga eh. Toxic masculinity daw tayo. Grabe naman mga tao. Happy Women's Month, and sabi ko Sonny, this is a safe space for you and Ronald to vent it out. Pero I'm glad na mabait ka. I think it's good moment to be mabait. Just before we close this, anong mensahe mo sa ating mga kaubayan? Because not long ago may mga nagsabi na nawawala na silang pag-asa sa bansa natin, nadidepress na ibang tao. I think even Lloyda Lewis, I mean, with all her support and love for the country, at some point umamin yata siya doon sa isang interview na pati siya parang nawawala na siya pag-asa. I understand her kasi may US team siya side, di ba? Kapag Trump and all. I'm sure she meant it in a sense of just a temporary despair. I know her heart is in the right place. But anong mensahe mo sa mga tao ngayon? May pag-asa pa ba ang Pilipinas? And what should we do to make sure we get the best out of our democratic space right now and this historic moment sa ICC?
Okay, they have to keep the faith, kasi nakita niyo naman in moments of despair, may mga ganitong bright lights, di ba? And these are just manifestations na pa naman, kumbaga talagang in this age-old battle between good and good versus evil, talagang nananalo yung good eh. So at some point may mga rectifications yan, may mga healing moments yan. It may not come as soon as you want it, pero it eventually always will, no? So kailangan natin kapit lang, and things will go our way at some point in the future. Ganon yan, kasi some people ask me, saan okay na buhay yung optimism na yan? Sabi ko, nakulong ako ng 7.5 years. You have to keep on hoping that one day you get out, and eventually it did. Diba? It came. So, yun lang yan.
7 years yung hinintay natin tong ICC, 7 years sa'yo, 7 years si De Lima. Of course, yung favorite player natin si Cristiano Ronaldo, number 7. I mean, I know it sounds so insensitive, but there's something, it's number 7, right? Like there's something decisive that happens every 7 years or something like that. Maybe I'm just being too numerologist or something about this. Mabuhay ka, Senator Sandro Trillanes. We love you, we support you, we really thank you. And sabi ko, whatever you want to say about BBM, whether it's indecisive or sabog yung press conference, at least magpasalamat tayo na may 2 letter T. General Torre, Senator Trillanes, you two are giving us a lot of hope, and you two are among our favorites. Every time you're here, there's so much excitement about it. Mabuhay ka, Senator Trillanes, magpahinga ka, and looking forward to catching up also in person for more Marites in person. I'm sure nagpakabait ka I'm sure marami kang gusto sabihin na hindi mo. Let's just talk in person. God bless po. Talk to you soon, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you.